Welcome to oh the humanities. Oh man, man. Here we are with humanities. Welcome to your home forever. Well, you know what they say. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Welcome to Oh the Humanities, your home for language arts, social studies, and humanity. I'm Mr. Mellow, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite part of the writing process. It's not brainstorming, it's not drafting, though those are great too. Today, we're talking about revision, the step of the writing process that'll take your writing to the next level. I'm sure that sometime on this channel we'll take a closer look at brainstorming and drafting and all those other essential parts of the writing process, but I wanted to work on revision today because it's my very favorite part of the process. I don't believe that there is such thing as a good first draft. All first drafts are kind of bad because it's our first try at writing that piece. But revision is where we take that bad first draft and we boost it up into something that is worth sharing with others. We make it into a final draft during the process of revision. You don't have to take my word for it either. We can look at what famous authors have to say about revision, and almost all of them, any writer that you talk to, will espouse how important revision is in the process. For instance, we can look at people like Roald Dahl, writer of James and the Giant Peach, The BFG, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, so many wonderful books that we remember from our childhoods. And he said that good writing is essentially rewriting. He said that he looked at a piece before he published probably upwards of 150 times. Now in classrooms, we might have a first draft, a second draft, then a final draft. That's only 3 times compared to Roald Dahl's 150. That kind of highlights how important this process is. We can also look at Ernest Hemingway, the famous novelist who rewrote the last page to his novel A Farewell to Arms at least 39 times. We can look at the poet Dorothy Parker, who said for every 5 words that she writes, she goes back and revises 7 of them. Now, you do the math, and I think the equation adds up to revision being a very, very important part of this process. Now, revision comes from the Latin re and vid, to see again. It's to take a new look at your work, to rewrite passages that aren't working, to delete whole sections, to add new things in, and basically just revise and rewrite until you have this polished, great product. It's a lot different than the editing process, though. Lots of people mix up editing and revision. Revision is more of a big picture process, whereas editing is taking a look at those little things. It's usually the final thing you'll do before you send it off to a publisher, and that's where we fix the little things like grammar, mechanics, spelling, capitalization, punctuation, and so forth. Today I want to give you 3 tips to help you with your revision process in your writing. And the first one's going to sound a little bit counterintuitive. It's to take a break. You know, sometimes when you have your computer here and you're just staring at the same draft for hours and hours and hours fixing things, it's almost like you get hypnotized. The words don't make sense anymore. And suddenly, you just kind of have to fall asleep a little. And that's why I'd encourage you to take a break, actually step away from your writing every while. Every night when we sleep, our brain is compartmentalizing all of the data that we've taken in over the day and processing things. If you just try to work right through, you finish the draft and then you're just revising all in the same sitting, you're not going to be able to see it with fresh eyes. So lots of writers actually recommend that you take a break, whether that's for a few minutes, a few hours, or a few days, put that draft away, and then come back to it and reread it with fresh eyes as a reader instead of as a writer, so you can actually take an objective view on your writing and see it from a new perspective to see what needs to be changed. On that same topic of when you look at a draft too long, it stops making sense, the words lose their meaning, it becomes kind of a jumble and a mess in your head. My second piece of advice for you today is to read your drafts out loud while you're revising. When you hear it in your voice instead of just as words on the screen, you are going to catch things that don't work. If something doesn't flow well, if something sounds awkward, if your dialogue doesn't sound like real people talking, you're going to catch those things when you actually read out loud. And if this feels awkward to you, you can always practice in front of the mirror like an audience. You can read to all your favorite house plants and give them your poetry and your stories and your drafts. But by reading out loud, you're going to catch so many little things that you wouldn't have noticed just staring at it on the screen. My third and final piece of revision advice today is to show someone else, which is a lot less work for you, but it's going to be extraordinarily helpful. Often when you've spent so much time with a draft, again, you're not going to notice certain things because you're so used to them or they're in just from your perspective. But when you get an outside perspective, if you actually have some people who are willing to read your draft, they're going to be able to tell you from an outside perspective what works and what doesn't. And that's going to give you some great advice for the revision process. Hey Franklin, would you mind taking a quick look at this story for me? Could you just get me some notes on that, please? Thank you so much, Franklin. I really appreciate your help. Thank you so much for tuning in to Oh the Humanities. I highly encourage you to pick up what you've been writing lately and try one of these 3 revision techniques. I guarantee that the revision process is going to bring your writing to the next level. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future updates to our channel, and we'll see you later. Have a great day.